Hello BookTube. For Tag Tuesday, I'm going to be doing the B Tag, created by Jim's Books, Reading, and Stuff. This is the sequel to Jim's earlier A Tag and even earlier A to Z tags. So let's get started. Prompt number 1. B is for Bildungsroman. Do you have a favorite Bildungsroman or coming-of-age story? I actually had to rack my brains for this one because my go-to would have been, say, The Catcher in the Rye, or maybe City of Night by John Rechy, Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. But then I'm like, it's been ages since I've read City of Night, so I don't really know if I could say that anymore. And The Catcher in the Rye, again, I mean, it's been a while since I've read it, so I'm not entirely comfortable either one. But then I was thinking, well, if you look at, say, Naruto, or even Fullmetal Alchemist, two iconic works of shonen manga, that if you pay attention, particularly to, in Naruto's case, the story of Naruto's character arc, his character progression from being a rather bratty, angry prankster to really being a mature sort of leader, sort of a character who brings his world together. I'm like, that's really a very brilliantly done coming-of-age story, a brilliantly done Bildungsroman. I mean, of course, it takes 700 chapters to get there, and some of the arcs, particularly towards the end, have go a little too long. But I'm like, nah, really, yeah, I can see that. And then with Fullmetal Alchemist, where Edward Elric's character progression from willing to do almost anything to get his body back, but then stopping when he realizes the horror that is involved in his pursuit of the Philosopher's Stone, and then his eventual sort of figuring out the trick of human transmutation is just brilliantly done. So I think I'm going to go with Naruto and Fullmetal Alchemist. Naruto is by Masashi Kishimoto, and Fullmetal Alchemist is by Hiromu Arakawa. Prompt number 2. B is for beach. What would you recommend for a beach read? Now, keep in mind, it has been well over 20 years since I've actually been to a beach. And that was, my family went down to the Texas coast, the Galveston area, when I was 11 or 12, and during our sightseeing, we went to the beach, and that was the first and only time I've ever been to the beach, largely because I ended up getting oiled. I'm assuming there must have been some kind of oil spill or something, and me and my brother went out into the water and we just got oiled or petroleum or something. Yeah, or it's an ugly time. So as far as beach read recommends, I'm not entirely sure I can help you because I don't have anything. I would think probably something that's a little light and fun but also maybe engrossing to kind of compete with the actual sights and activities of the beach, as well as a book that is more disposable as an object than the rest, because the beach you can, or at the beach you can, I mean, there's the sand, there's the water, there's people, that it can get damaged. So a book that, if it does get destroyed by the natural elements, you're not going to mind losing, or is easily replaceable. Now, what that book is, I'm not entirely sure. Prompt number 3. B is for best. What is the best book you have read this year so far? For that, I'm going to go with The 100 Years' War on Palestine by Rashid Khalidi. It is an amazing, heart-wrenching, infuriating history of the extended oppression of Palestine, and how and an interpretation of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict that doesn't really get a lot of airtime, and one that I think is rather valuable to have. I mean, it just really sort of changed my opinion on the whole Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And it is an amazing book. A close second would be Republic of Wrath by Moroni. That's history of the United States, particularly when Americans are at each other's throats, which is actually far more common than we want to believe. We have this notion of a bipartisan halcyon era, which really only lasted from the Great Depression to the 60s, to the beginnings of the Civil Rights Acts. But before then and after, we've been mostly at each other's throats via partisanship. Prompt number 4. B is for bookshop or bookstore. Do you have a favorite bookstore? Yes, I have 2, although I haven't been physically in either one in about 15 years. So the first one is Book People in Austin. I went to university in Austin. It's the capital of Texas, and is noted for being an incredibly weird place compared to the rest of Texas. And it's gloriously so, just absolutely gloriously so. And one of the icons of Austin is Book People. It's a large independent bookstore located on 6th Street in Lamar. And it was one of my favorite places to go. I would go at least once a month. More than likely, I think I went like every other week. I would take the bus, go up to 6th Street, I take the Congress bus, and stop off at 6th Street, and then just walk to Book People. I spend a few hours there, and then walk back to Congress, and then catch the bus back, either to my dorm or to my apartment, which was not too far from campus. And I love Book People. And my second favorite bookstore is Powell's, which is a iconic independent bookstore in Portland, Oregon, where I went for a conference when I was in my senior year of university. And we spent about as much time sightseeing as we did going to presentations. And one of the places we went to was Powell's, which was just a glorious experience. It is so large and so vast and has so many books. And Like me and the people I went with, we had a blast. And then I went back, I think the next day, to get some more books. So I just love them. But I hadn't, since 2006, I haven't really gone, well, obviously I haven't left, so I haven't gone to either one since 2006. And just recently I've started to actually order from them online, which annoys me a bit because I could have been doing this long. But anyway, so last year I started to order from them online, and I've been quite happy with the results and just really supporting them. Particularly Powell's, which had a bit of a fright at the middle parts of last year when the pandemic started to really hurt their business. But I'm thinking Powell's and definitely Book People are doing much better now. So prompt number 5. B is for banned books. Is there any book you think should be banned? No. Absolutely not. I'm not a fan of banning books at all. No matter what political extreme is trying to do it. I mean, I know a lot of, it's no. Just no. Prompt number 6. B is for Bible. What is your favorite book of the Bible, and what trigger warnings do you think it should have? None. I have tried to read the Bible and various books of the Bible so many times when I was younger, preteen, about like 9, 10, 11, 12. There was an old beat up Bible that we had. I'm not entirely sure why or how it came into our possession. And then there was probably a fairly clear violation of the First Amendment when I was in 5th grade. A local pastor came to visit my 5th grade English class and passed out little red New Testaments, which I'm assuming is a tradition, or was, for these little red New Testaments to be passed out to 5th graders who just beginning or ending their elementary school career or beginning their junior high, depending where exactly the 5th grade classes are. When I was in 5th grade, they were at the junior high. And then later they moved to the elementary when they expanded. And then when they moved to the new elementary until it got too big, and then they moved back to the junior high, and now they're back at the elementary because they both are primary. But anyway, so I've tried to read numerous books of the Bible from both of those. I remember from the little red one, I tried to read from the beginning, and then I think I tried Revelations, and I just bailed. It just really didn't appeal to me. I thought the writing, or the translation in this case, just really wasn't up to snuff, and I was just uninterested. So, no. As for trigger warnings, there's a lot. If I were to. And my opinion on trigger warnings is a bit ambiguous. But yeah, prompt number 7. B is for bookshelf. Show me your bookshelves. Well, I'm not going to get up and show you all of them. I mean, obviously you have the general fiction over here and the history over here. And then I have a empty bookcase behind me which will be sooner rather than later, History 2. For an update from my book haul yesterday, I've put the new books up, and the very bottom shelf on the bookcase that's underneath this one here has about one more book before it needs to start moving over to this one. I have about a third of a shelf for the one on top of it, which is only big enough for paperbacks and very short hardcovers. And I have about a third of that shelf left, so yeah. And then I also have a bookcase over here, which is my headboard. It's like two shelves. Well, a shelf and then the top, which I use as a shelf too. And then I have a line of bookcases along this wall here. And then a bookcase covering my closet door, which is just a junk space. And I kind of wanted to cover it so I have enough more room for books, because I've got quite a bit. And this room is the only place where I can really have them. I think maybe like to get one or two more bookcases. I want to try to get another one, either a similar situation similar to this one, where I can get like one bookcase on top of another over on this wall, and then there's enough space over where my closet door is that I can probably get another bookcase there, or on this wall here, more like over that way, and then eventually probably here where my desk is, because I think I could probably get about two bookcases here, and my bookcase is, or not my bookcase, my desk is probably about ready to be retired. And finally, prompt number 8. B is for Brazil. More specifically, Paolo Coelho. So, Paolo Coelho's The Alchemist has been translated into 70 languages. Oh my. Have you read any Paolo Coelho? And if so, what did you think of his books? I have never read Paolo Coelho. Although I did have The Alchemist in my book depository wish list for the longest time until late-ish last year, I decided to purge most of the general fiction from that list, and The Alchemist was one of those books that were purged. That said, I'm not entirely sure if I would want, I guess I probably should at some point get around to trying Paolo Coelho, and I would like to read some books, Brazilian books, whether general fiction. I know, I'm likely to bail because I generally bail on all general fiction, or some works of history. I do want some Brazilian history, so anyway. So that was the B tag. If you would like to do this tag, your tag. Because it was quite fun. So yeah. Definitely, if you want to do this tag, consider yourselves tagged. And until tomorrow, which hopefully I will have a writing video up tomorrow, and then another tag on Thursday, because I'm in the mood for some tag necromancy. So we shall see about that. Or nattering more on about bookstores. But anyway, so until next time, BookTube, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.